Spirituality is made of two words. What are those two words?
Spirit
And
and
personality.
personality.
So information about us as a spirit and as a person, everything is included under that. Okay, so it is all information about us only. We, who are we? Why are we here? What is our purpose? How long are we here for? What are things that are happening to us or situations created in our life? Why are they happening? How they are happening? How to solve them, how to deal with them. So all these things come under spirituality because it is not related to any religion. Religion is more like an institutional, like institutions like rules, regulations, their own book, sometimes even their own dress code. So it depends. But it's like a sect, it's like a sect, or you could say it's like a organization or the school which is trying to teach you more about God rather than about yourself. But spirituality is all about you as a person, as a spirit, and also the knowledge about God and the universe and everything that exists around you. So that is what the spirituality covers. Yes.
I also think that religion takes away your individuality, your spirituality. I think religion tries to mold you into a certain shape.
Yes. Yes, because it has its own rules and regulations, their own belief system, which they want to follow. And on that basis of the belief system, they bind you. Because what are the beliefs? They are your boundaries. Beliefs are the boundaries that we put our mind within that. And then we want to act on those beliefs. So they are kind of boundaries. We are bounding ourselves into those beliefs. And as a result, you could say we are bound. So spirituality is freedom. Freedom from those boundaries, freedom from everything that is binding us, even the 5 bodies that we use in this world. Yes, Ken?
I have 2 questions about Hinduism. First of all, are there different sects of Hinduism? I mean, like there are with Christianity or Judaism or something. Are there different versions of Hinduism? And also, do people in the Hindu faith, do they proselytize, like missionaries or that sort of thing?
No.
You're born into
Hinduism is not a religion actually, it's a way of life. So Hindu word came from the people living on the banks of Indus Valley, Indus River. It was called a Hindu river. So people living around that river were called Hindus. So they adapted a way of life. Their way of life was that they believed in everything, in spirituality rather than the religion. They would worship everything like sun, moon, anything that they could see and they could, which was giving them something. Even the earth is their mother figure, sun is the father figure. So this is how they were worshipping everything. And because everything was giving them something to sustain life. So that is why they believed in it and they worshipped it. And because if they wanted rain, they would pray to a rain god. So similarly, this way they created different gods. Were the versions. They were the versions of that. Okay, if I pray to the rain god, maybe more rain will come. So it was not something that was visible to anything. It was not a physical thing, but it was a spiritual thing. It was just something which was connecting your mind to something higher energy, higher spirit, and from that, getting the things that they needed for sustenance. So Hinduism is basically a way of life, and so they have lots and gods and goddesses. Now it doesn't mean that one is better than the other. Every god and goddesses, as I told you, has a different function in a meaning every god will give something different. If you want money, you have to go and pray to this goddess, because she represents the goddess of money. So if you want health, good health, then there's another god. And if you want knowledge, then there's another god and goddesses. So this way it was like different figures and forms were created on the basis of their own imagination, basically. And but everything that the gods and goddesses are holding symbolizes what they are giving. So, like the goddess Money will be holding a pot of gold and money in her hand. So that will symbolize that she represents money. So if you want to go and pray for money, then you can put her. Now these these forms and figures were created because basically also because Hinduism earlier, when they had no forms and figures, no murtis, they were meditating. So they were always in meditation. But when meditation is something, now I'm teaching you guys so you know a little bit about it. But general masses don't know and they do not understand it or cannot focus on it. So what happens is then they have to be, when they focus on a figure or a form, it's easy for them to meditate. So these forms and figures were created so that it becomes easy for people to meditate on. And meditate on, pray to them, and get the things that they want for their sustenance and for their desires. Okay?
So that's like like Buddhism, you may focus, I don't want to use the word pray then, focus on a certain thing that you are, I don't know, you're asking for something or you want something. And I remember when I was in this Buddhist,
in a Buddhist,
there was a scroll that I would look at.
Yeah, they have also different kinds of Buddhas with different things holding in their hands and all, representing different forms and wishes. So everything. So this is how all the different gods and goddesses were created because they represented different things that they could provide. And but eventually, everybody and in Hinduism also they understand that even though these are, like you could say, mediators or you could say middlemen, but there is only one energy or one God. And that energy itself gives these gods energy further to fulfill the desires and the wishes. Okay?
The main thing about Hinduism and Buddhism was about reincarnation.
Yes.
It's a big part of it.
Yes. Reincarnation, actually, even Jesus in Christianity, when he was meditating in Himalayas, he also understood reincarnation. But the only thing was that he only had like 2 or 3 years of preaching. So he could not even preach that part because it was a basic information that he gave to the people just so that they can coexist in harmony and at peace with each other. So it's not that he was not aware of it. Reincarnation is a part of the Hinduism, Buddhism, all the ism, you could say Eastern religions, all of it. Because when you do meditate and when you do have a self-realization experience, you understand that you are a spirit and you are only here on a journey to experience life in a different manner. So every life itself that we have experienced, because you see your past lives, you see your future also. So this way you see that you have been reincarnating for so long, and it's not just one journey. And this is not understood by the Abrahamic religions because they believe that one person who came down and started the religion, so that whatever that person said or did was the law. You could say yes. Thank you. So, but that is so they kind of bound themselves into the boundaries of those laws and those information that one person started with, and they could not ever evolve out of it. But spirituality or Hinduism has no boundaries. Anybody and everybody who meditates comes up with their own experience, and then they write about it, and from that experience they learn something new every time.
I'm reminded of like two very disparate things. ancient Greece
Yes.
with goddesses and gods. And also Native Americans, they had like maybe a rain god or
Yes.
that sort
Yes.
of thing. So there's a similarity.
Yes, of course. Yes, because in those days people were worshipping nature rather than
Worshiping nature.
Yes, yes.
The people praying for rain and stuff like that, is it coincidental that it happens, or what do studies show? Like
No.
The Indians do the rain dance and it rains. Is it coincidental, or is it?
And you mean Native Americans, you see Indians, right?
Whoever, yeah.
No, it's not coincidental. So everything is energy if we understand the
Energy,
spirituality.
that's right.
So everything is energy, and when you focus on your energy on something you want to create for yourself, then and collectively when a lot of people are focusing their energy, then they can manifest anything and everything. So that is exactly what was happening. They would focus collectively into getting rain. And if you're praying, you can say, okay, this figure represents a rain god, but the figure itself is also created by the human beings, right? Somebody created, okay, let's put a water, a symbol of water with the rain god or something. So some in this manner, as I just explained, the money god will have money in their hand, knowledge god will have a book in their hand. So all these were symbols created by the own human beings itself. But they were representing, those figures were representing something. So it was it's not the figure itself, it is what it represents that matters, right? So when we are putting our energy and focusing our attention onto something which represents something specific, then that is what we are going to manifest. And collectively, when a lot of people do that, it's easy to manifest because then the collective energy is created. That is why when we do satsang is nothing but coming together and praying and doing the meditation.
So that's why you have the houses of worship?
Yes, exactly, because the energy is collected over there and it is reinforced in that building, and as such, as soon as you enter that building, you feel that energy and you feel that, okay, the energy is high over here, and you immediately, your attention and your mind's attention, which was all over scattered, will get concentrated on that one figure which it represents, and as a result it gets focused and it's able to pray, or it's able to concentrate and meditate on that form and figure. So it happens with all the house of worships, and also anywhere you collectively do things, it's easier to do it rather than doing it by yourself in your own space. So that is why it's always recommended to go initially, till you are a pro, to go into satsangs, to go into the meetings, meditation meetings, where you can do it collectively, because everybody's energy is then affecting each other, and it is a collective energy which makes the energy of that space high for everybody to be able to concentrate.
It's called the temple in Hinduism?
Yes, it's called mandir.
What?
Mandir. Now, mandir itself means, man is mind. Andir means to going within the mind. That is what it means. To go within your own self. And that space also where you go and sit, meditate, or focus on the figure or form of the murti, then basically you're doing it with connection of your mind. So everything is created by mind. So all the connections happens with mind. So it doesn't matter if I'm speaking and your mind is wandering off. Are you connected? No. Right? Similarly, if there's a chanting going on of a God's name and your mind is somewhere else doing grocery, again, you are not really chanting. So that is why everything happens only with the mind. Everything else, all the rituals, all the things were created simply so that our mind can get focused and it can stay focused into that ritual, and as a result get connected to the energy behind it. Okay, so that is why different rituals are created by the human beings, because this way your mind was easy to connect your mind if your eyes is seeing Like there's a, we do havan. Havan is nothing but fire,
What is that?
and that only creates good aroma around it, purifies the whole atmosphere. And why we are doing that is because while we are doing the rituals, what are we thinking? That we are doing it for God. We are remembering God in that process. Whatever or whoever we think the God is, doesn't matter. Okay? So we are thinking of that and we are performing those rituals. So our mind is kind of focused in that. It's easy to focus your mind into something when you are using your hands and your eyes and everything. Your whole body parts is concentrating on one thing. It's easier rather than you're doing something else with your hands and your mind is going somewhere else. So it's not easy for the general masses to focus unless there's a ritual involved. Then people generally get connected, like lighting a lamp. So you're more focused while lighting a lamp because you also know why you're lighting a lamp and for who you're lighting, and your mind knows, okay, this is for serenading the god or goddesses or the whoever I believe in. So when we are doing that, then it's easy for us to be able to concentrate. So that is why these rituals were created, these different gods and goddesses were created. Also in meditation, when I say, okay, go meditate on energy, what will you meditate on? There's no form or figure of energy, right? So that is why these forms and figures were created, because whatever your liking is and whoever you get attracted to, you can think of that figure as your god or goddesses that you want to worship, and then through that god and goddesses you will be revealed that ultimately there's only one energy. But that god and goddesses will not only help you to concentrate or meditate, but also it will give you or fulfill all your wishes and desires that you were seeking. So that also is another benefit that gods and goddesses can do. So, or it's just like having angels in different religion, or having different forms of people that they worship on. It could be anything and everything, but everything eventually is created by human beings on the basis of their circumstances, on the basis of the culture and the place that they were living, and according to their circumstances, the different forms were created. Okay? So it's not like one is better than the other. Everybody and everything is doing the same thing, but ultimately there is only one energy, or you could say there's only one God. And God itself, word itself, describes what? The functions of that energy, right?
Life.
Functions of that energy. What is the function of that energy? G stands for?
Generate.
Yes.
What?
Energy that generates everything, gives birth
G.
to everything. Generation.
Generation.
Yes. It creates and generates everything. O is for?
Order.
Order and organization, in a sustaining it in an orderly manner, organizing it. So that is another O. And the energy that destroys, D is destruction. D is for destruction, destroys whatever is not needed. Ultimately, whatever is created has to be dissolved also. It has to be destroyed so it can be recreated into a different form, because energy itself cannot be created or formed. It just exists. But out of that energy, using that energy, we can create anything and everything. But whatever we create is always for a short term, because that thing has to get destroyed and then something new has to be recreated. And that is how the cycle of creation happens. Everything that you see, sun, clouds, or
Spiritual.
yes, trees or buildings or cars or us, human beings or animals or plants, everything that you see is out of that one energy. So basically, to understand is that there is only and only one energy, and that out of that energy, or which we also call it as consciousness, we can call it as Atma, we can call it as any name, doesn't matter. Those names are also again given by the human beings, okay, on the basis of their own understanding, and different belief systems. So whatever the name that you use, it doesn't matter, but understanding is that there's only one energy, which is the scientific point of view, and out of that energy everything has been created, and everything is created out of that energy, is sustained by that energy, and then again destroyed and recreated by the same one energy. So there's nothing different. So actually, if you start believing in that, and if you start understanding that concept, then there will be no differences. There won't be any differences that we humans have created among each other and having wars because of those. So all those differences just dissolve into nothingness, because everything is out of that one energy, and everything, just like you have thousands of flowers in this universe, and you can't say one is better than the other. Why? Because everybody has a different liking. You may like something and I may like something different. So you cannot say one is better than the other. Everything is good and everything is for our use.
What Matt said in distinguishing religion from spirituality, spirituality is from within, and religion is imposed on you from without.
Yes,
from
outside.
Yeah.
So basically, yes.
Would you say that people who behave badly on a regular basis lack spirituality inside of them?
No, they are spirit, but they don't have the knowledge. It's ignorance.
Okay.
Ignorance is controlling the world. Ignorance is controlling the minds of so many people, especially the people who are on a seat who are making decisions for the world, are not only full of ignorance, but also they are acting out of greed and out of different vices that are holding them, so binding them, and especially this lack of knowledge that we are all one, we are all same, only in a different, expressing ourselves in a different manner, and everybody is beautiful and everybody is good. All these things are lacking in understanding, and as a result, and all these countries and the boundaries that human beings have created lines on this earth. God did not create, He created earth. He did not draw the lines. Lines were drawn by the people, and then they are fighting over those lines. So it is, and then they are fighting, I can live on this land and you cannot. Everybody, if they have come into this earth, has a right to live on the earth, and it doesn't matter which part of earth they want to live. It should be their own decision, or it should be on the basis of what they like and what they want to experience. So our journey is all about experiences, and if we want to experience something, then we have a right to explore and experience that.
If somebody, and this is on an individual basis, somebody continually and maybe knowingly does bad things, where do they end up? I mean, what happens? I mean, well, but we don't believe. Yeah, what? I mean, that is.
So, science has. You believe in science, right? What is science?
The study of something.
This
study of
what is it? No, science. The study-
Science
the study of
is
nature.
spirituality known to the human being,
No.
and spirituality is science still to be known. Okay. Now, the things that we have now, everything exists in this universe. Okay, and you open one door and you come into a room and see all the beautiful things in that room, right? So now you have become aware what is in that room. That is science. That means you have discovered something. It's not that the room didn't exist. The room was there. It's just that you didn't know and you did not open the door. Now you opened the door and you found out that there is a room and there are some certain things in there, and they are available for you. So that is how science works. Science is, you make a hypothesis, then you experiment on it. Okay? So you make a hypothesis, just like Newton, the apple fell on his head. So he was wondering why it's falling down, why it's not going up. Because every time he threw up, it came down. So this was a hypothesis. Then he started doing the experiment. And as he did more and more, he threw up, and every time it came down, he realized that there was a force that was pulling everything down. and that was a force of gravity.
Gravity.
So that is how one law came about from the science, that there is a gravitational force on the earth which pulls everything towards its center. Okay, so this is how science works. It creates a hypothesis, then it does experiment on it, and then it comes to the conclusion, and on that basis a law is created. So there is another law of law of relativity. You've heard of that, which says everything has every action has a equal and opposite reaction. That's another law that has been proven. So similarly, on that basis, that law is also, you could say, can also be named in this under spirituality as a law of karma. Karma is
So, something this
everything that goes around
comes
comes around.
Wow.
Yes. So if you're doing something, you're going to not only, because you are the one who is creating it, good or bad, then who's going to first enjoy it? You.
You will.
Because you are creating it. So you will enjoy that first, and then when you throw it on the other person, it's up to that person whether he wants to enjoy that experience or not. Is up to the other person. But if you are doing it, if you are doing an action, then a reaction has to come, and that reaction is the law of karma. So which is also proven by the science that everything has a reaction. Every action has a
So
reaction.
you don't learn. So if in this life you don't learn anything, so I have to come back again the same way.
Yes.
I will, and so then some people are stuck in the same
Cycle.
Cycle.
Going around and around.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they never learn.
And they never learn. No, they will learn. Every time they learn a different, because experience teaches everybody. Whether they want to
So
learn
you-
or not, they have to learn. Because when they go through a hardship, you have to learn. You have to learn,
Sure.
okay, I cannot put my hand into the fire because I can get burned. You know, whether you learn it by me telling you don't do that, or by putting your own finger inside and see, getting burned, and then will a person who gets burned, will he go next to the fire again? No, because they learned the lesson. So this is how the universe teaches you by getting burned.
Hopefully they keep you
Yes.
learning the lesson.
Yes, by getting burned, you learn your lessons, and that's how you grow also. And it is necessary for your own growth, because if you want to be boundless, if you want to be free from all the boundaries that you have created within your mind, on the basis of religion, caste, color, and country, or whatever basis, it's up to you. You have created those boundaries, and you have to understand these boundaries have to be broken if you want to be happy, and if you want to live peacefully and accept others as equal to you. That is the only way we can all live peacefully. Otherwise, if we keep creating these boundaries, the more boundaries we create, the more we are going to fight over it. Right?
They say that when you get how you say, awakenings,
Yes.
that's it's
Awakening is nothing. Awakening from ignorance.
like ignorance. So it's like